Welcome back. Now I want to talk to you about the zone or the type of vegetation that lives where we live. And the zone we live in is called the temperate zone. And it's called temperate because it's not too hot, it's not too cold, but it does get hot and it does get cold. It's this zone right here. We're above the equator, but we're not all the way up to the top. So it's this band right here in the middle. And there is also a temperate zone down here. It's right here. It's just kind of hard to see because the map, like I said last time, the map is not to scale. And so this band right down here, that's got a little South America, a little Australia, and a tiny tip of Africa. And this band that stretches most of North America and this big piece of Europe and Asia right here, that is what we call the temperate zone. Now, the temperate zone is a really special place or a really cool place to be because we have seasons. We have a warm season in the summertime where it can get fairly warm and hot, and it's for most of us that season is fairly short. And then we have the in-between seasons where we go into fall, and when we come into spring into summer, those in-between seasons, it's moderate temperatures. And then in the winter, it can get quite cold. In fact, many of these places freeze and can have snow. And so this temperate zone is characterized by having many different types of weather throughout the year and having seasons. And that's really exciting to talk about right now because this week is the first week of fall. Okay, so in the temperate zones, I want to talk about places that get lots of rain. So places that get lots of rain in the temperate zone can grow trees and forests. Now, they're not the same types of trees and forests that grow in the torrid zone where we get rainforests. These are considered deciduous forests. And deciduous forests are marked in this brown color. And some of you may already know, deciduous trees are trees that lose their leaves in the fall. And so these are things like oaks and maples and trees that change their leaves change before they fall. And you can see I've got some here behind me on the background. And so these deciduous forests are characterized by big trees that their leaves change with the season and fall for the winter. And so these areas have quite a bit of rainfall, enough rainfall to establish these forests. Now, there are deciduous forests in North America and a little in South America. This piece of Asia and most of Europe is temperate deciduous forests. There's some deciduous forest here in the very southern tip of Africa and this very little bit of Australia and even New Zealand. Okay, so let's think about areas near us in North America that are very dry but still have seasons. We have deserts, and deserts can be very, very hot, but deserts can also get very cold. And so this area here is a desert. In fact, we live right on the edge of this desert area. We live right about in there. And so this area right here is a desert. And when we think about that, if you've driven across our state, it's very dry across most of our state. Over here, Central Asia is a desert, and Northern Africa, all of this is a desert. It has temperate climate, meaning it has seasons, but it's very dry for most of the year. Again, these plants that grow here have slender leaves or small shrubs. They're not growing into big plants or grasses. Okay, and I want to talk about another kind of place because it's where we live, right here in this white area. These places get very cold, and you can see they're up here in this northern part. These places get very cold, and we get cold here too. And the special trees that grow here, because we get enough rainfall, the special trees that grow here have developed leaves that are sharp needle-like leaves. And these needle-like leaves are what we get when we have evergreen trees. So spruce trees and fir trees and pine trees all have needle-like leaves that stay on the tree year-round, and that's why they're called evergreen. And so these are places that have enough rainfall to establish trees, but trees that have to withstand colder climates. And so they have needle-like leaves instead of the deciduous leaves of these other areas where they have lots of rainfall. And again, there's some places that just get moderate rainfall, and that is this grassland here. And the grassland of the temperate zone is very important. This, if you think about central United States, that's where most of our food is grown, where corn and wheat and all sorts of things grow out there on the grassland. And we call grasslands, temperate grasslands, other things like prairies or steppes. And so this area here is very important. They get rainfall, but they don't have so much rain that trees grow. They have just enough rain to grow grasses and other types of crops. I have many more stories to tell you about the different zones and the people who live there and the plants that grow there, but those are stories for another time. Stay tuned for the zone up here, this very cold zone, the frigid zone.